Hello, welcome back to Evolve Quest. My name is Katrin, and I'm a coach for creating career you love. And in this video, I want to mention a tip that is helping a lot of my clients to feel more comfortable and more at ease when interviewing for jobs they really, really want, with really exciting companies or for internal jobs where they are right now. And it's especially useful if you have not been interviewing for a while. And even though you typically feel comfortable in important meetings, you haven't had that practice interviewing. So I'm going to share with you one pro tip in this video. But before I go into it, do go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I often share videos here about creating fulfilling career and life. So yeah, and hit the bell notification button so you hear about them. So I'll wait. Yeah, you can do it now. Why not? So I thought it's important to talk about this because I work with a lot of people who are high achievers and who are doing really well, presenting to people, being in important business meetings. But when it comes to interviewing, they tend to choose just maybe one top employer, like specific company or specific team they want to go after, and then they put all of their efforts and all of their hopes into that interview, into that position. And what happens is that they put themselves into a very stressful situation. And so if they don't get that job, or if they don't perform well in that interview, their whole job search process falls apart. They lose the confidence to go and look for something else, and they just kind of feel, quite disappointed. At that stage, that stops them from moving forward and looking really for that job that will make them feel inspired and fulfilled. So recently it made me think of an experience that you'll see how this is connected to the topic, but it doesn't sound that relevant. So a few years ago, I went to a treetop adventure. The ones in the forest, you wear those harnesses, you go on the zip wires. It's really great fun. I love it. There was a part in the course where you had to jump off a platform and you had to free fall for about 5 seconds before you hit a net. So, you'll be safe. That's not the problem. But the thing is that the mind does get flooded with a lot of stress hormones. And so what happened to me, as I remember it, I went to the edge of the platform. The fall wasn't that far, but nonetheless, it felt really scary. And I remember when I jumped, so one thing I did is I screamed very loud. And secondly, by the time I ended up in the net, I realized that I don't actually remember the fall. It was almost like I've blacked out because of all those stress hormones in my body, all this adrenaline. I just kind of whoop, like I don't remember the actual experience. So I was like, well, this is not fun because I haven't really been into this experience. So let me go one more time. And so I remember when I jumped second time into the net, I remember about a second of that free fall. So I was like, well, this feels like more fun. Maybe I should go once again. So I went for the second time and I jumped, and I remembered 10 seconds. I was like, I'm starting to feel more comfortable here. This is actually really fun. So I went 5-6 times, and I remember that by the end of it, I vividly experienced all the sensations that's coming with, this free falling. And I was really in it. I was very present and I experienced all of it. And that was an exhilarating fun. And so what it made me think about is that whenever we're faced with a new situation that is stressful, it can be adrenaline sports, but it can also be things that generally bring us stress in normal life. And what I've realized is that it's about repeating the experience until you start feeling comfortable in that situation. Because what happens is when there are too many stress hormones in your system, your prefrontal cortex is kind of almost shuts down or only performs very basic functions. That's why sometimes you find that when you prepare to an interview and you think, yes, like I practiced, I've really nailed all my answers, and you arrive to that room And it's as if you are a different person and you haven't practiced for it at all. And I've been in interviews when I felt like I can hardly form my sentences. Well, for me, it was also about making live videos. The first one I've made, it was just, I don't know what it was about. It was terrible. It was super scary. And I feel differently now. Even though I feel a level of stress, I kind of form sentences and say things coherently, I hope. So the same with the interviews. So the pro tip here is that when you have a role in mind, a type of role, a type of company, or maybe you have a specific company that you want to go after, and you're very excited about that role. So my advice is to always, always, always structure your interviewing process through giving yourself more options, not just focusing on that one or a couple of opportunities, but really deciding, okay, this month I'm going to reach out to. I'm going to first of all make a list of about 20 companies that I'm going to reach out to, and some of them will be your top ideal type of employers or jobs within your organization. And some of them are going to be really on the bottom, really not sure if you want to go there, but you stick them on the list just for the sake of the quantity, not quality. And what you do once you've reached out to all these companies and got some of those meetings organized, you go and ideally you reach out to the companies that you're least interested in first, so that you can go to all of those interviews and practice being present and practice feeling comfortable in those kind of situations. You're also getting feedback as you're getting along. You're also practicing the kind of questions that may come up in those interviews. And you may find out something about those firms that you didn't know about that will actually make you interested to go for those jobs. And so what happens in this scenario is that by the time you get to your top priority, so your top 3 companies,